Today's horoscope from Astrocademy, Aquarius September 29, 2022. You're inclined to do quite a bit of thinking now. Today is good for exchanging ideas and information. Problem solving is highly favored for matters in which you're not too personally invested. You can be a good go-between right now. It's a good idea to relax and participate in activities that help you symbolically clear the slate or let go of things you no longer need. The moon is balsamic today, pointing to the need to take the time to contemplate, reflect on the past, and consider changes you'd like to make in the future. Tomorrow's new moon can shift your attention and signal a time for starting fresh. Today is good for recognizing which projects, lines of study, or attitudes you're better off without. Take time to catch your breath before the upcoming cycle in which you are far more visible, influential, and accountable than usual. Today can also feature a mind-expanding moment. What have you learned or experienced in the last few days that could advance your career? Luckily, you have time to consider your professional beliefs, experiences, and teachings under the moon in Libra today. As there are no other major transits to overpower the moon, you can lean into its reflective energy. The lunation is asking you to consider everything that you have learned. As you reflect, list the educational outlets and experiences that matter the most in your professional development. This will help you define the best outlets to refer back to for help. Just as the moon returns to begin the lead up to a new moon in your career sector, Neptune moves into his final 4 weeks in retrograde motion in your career sector. This gives Neptune a better chance to exploit untapped income potential now, but also ensure that when he turns direct, the right professional momentum has been created. There isn't much that you can't incorporate into your schedule when you are focused on the task. You may not want to be like Rocky and drink raw eggs in the morning before running up the steps of the Philadelphia Art Museum, but you can arrange to get up an hour early and go for a jog before you get to work. This kind of effort will help you manage the influences of the planetary alignments at this time. The moon will spend its final hours in an adventurous part of your chart aligned with Mercury before not only ending the day in your career sector but beginning the lead up to a new moon. While the moon is shifting its focus from one side of life's fence to the other, Mercury will hold on for another few days, working with planets in Aquarius and in a playful part of your chart to send a message that life can't be all work and no play. The aim is to have it all. During her last full day in a social and serendipitous part of your chart, Venus, the planet of love, will be doing her best to put you in the right place at the right time. Venus has been using the laws of attraction and synchronicity to create serendipitous moments or encounters for the last 4 weeks, but is on a mission to make her last full day here count. What are you waiting for? The moon continues to ignite your pleasure-seeking 5th house of love, infatuation, and self-expression, bringing emotional emphasis and intuitive clarity to themes surrounding your heart's desires and passion projects, but there's more. Luna will be in close proximity to Venus and Mercury, which, in turn, energizes and revitalizes similar themes. Are you holding back from sending that text? Luna's trine to lucky Jupiter in your sign invites you to take a leap of faith, and its square to Pluto highlights the transformation that's taking place in the process. Change is here, and you manifested this. The current planetary configuration impels you to examine your life with a healthy perspective. You could be working on a plan of how you would like to live your life over the next 25 years. You must endeavor to make your health choices consciously, for your bodies is the very structure in which you live. Give yourself all the help you need in figuring out what works best for you in terms of diet and exercise, and create a balance that enhances your well-being. Our eyes in the sky. Today has an eclectic energy that could feel both scattered and psychologically challenging at times. This morning's moon in Libra makes it a little easier for all of us to process. When Pluto squares the moon, those in relationships take a closer look at their commitments. This is going to mark a time where your mind is influenced by your own desires. Over the weeks ahead, you might wish for something to happen to the point of obsession. Remember that everyone is going to be feeling these same vibes, so you aren't alone. This energy can bring gains and losses. You might feel like you're unable to take any action at all, like you're stuck in place. It could seem as though your mind is a prison, but it's up to you to decide how to navigate through this minor storm. The reality is that as long as you have curiosity and creativity, you're unstoppable. It's only when you are hard on yourself that it feels like you're stuck in an emotional swamp. On the upside, this energy winds down when the moon enters Scorpio later in the day. In the morning, retrograde Mercury in Virgo trines Pluto in Capricorn, the second of 3 trines between these two planets. The first occurred on August 22nd, so look back to this date to make personal connections. This influence grants us a penetrative mind. We detect the hidden rationale subtly underpinning and guiding our interactions. We can even investigate occult principles or further define our astrological awareness. However, because Mercury is retrograde, it might be hard to communicate everything that is going on in our heads. While we're adept at working and reworking ideas at a conceptual level, something is bound to become lost in translation if we attempt to explain ourselves. This is perhaps the true intent of this transit, to determine when it is wise to reveal, versus when it is wise to keep silent. The final trine in this series, with Mercury in direct motion, will occur on October 6th. This week may bring some strange feelings from your past, or perhaps past lives. You could feel somehow boxed in or forced toward a certain conclusion. Aspects affecting your employment sector mean that you need to focus more attention here to make your work meaningful and lucrative. Mid-morning, the Libra moon squares off with Pluto, provoking power struggles. Perhaps we want to share a secret, but it would be purely for our own gain. Our inclination to form relationships based on gossip could be to curry favor or gain a tactical advantage. What we're really battling with now is our own perceived lack of agency. Once we become aware that fear is steering our choices, we can start to take back our power. The moon enters its void of course following this aspect's perfection, suggesting we use this time for introspection and keeping our mouths shut.